Story 1. The Veteran Tree. As we go amongst the trees, each tree has its own story. Each tree came from a different acorn, a different seed planted in the ground. Some are invasive, non-native species. Some are ancient. Some are veteran, like Bob's oak before you. This tired, old, weathered oak has stood here for over 500 years. Bob's oak grew over centuries, over time, at its own pace, seeing different seasons, different forms of life. Now there are signs of decay, with mould and holes and lack of bark. But if you're here in the summer, you will see leaves shooting out from the top of the tree. Although this tree is old, there is still life in it. Beyond that, it sustains life as a habitat for rare species. But this tree hasn't always been old. Bob's oak would have sprouted here in the Tudor period, way into the history of Ashridge. Ashridge is spread over 9 parishes and contains 5 commons. The commons were places where common people had rights to use the land owned by another. Those rights included rights to graze animals, rights to cut wood through practices such as coppicing, rights to hunt, and rights to gather firewood. Bob's oak sits on Aldbury Common and looks over Meadley's meadow. This meadow was a part of the common which was enclosed in medieval times for grazing cattle. Much of Ashridge has been enclosed at different points during its history for different purposes. We're going to learn more about enclosures in Story 2, but for now, enclosure is when you cordon off a piece of land by building fences or planting hedges. During Tudor times, Ashridge was undergoing major change. Ashridge House, which you may have seen as you came in, was originally a monastery. But when the Pope refused to grant Henry VIII's divorce from Catherine of Aragon, he broke with the Catholic Church and became the head of the Church of England. Monasteries that had previously been the hub of communities, providing employment, a market to sell produce, and support for those in need, were dissolved, and the land reverted to the Crown. This was the case at Ashridge, with the house becoming a royal residence. Indeed, when this oak was just a sapling, Ashridge House was one of Elizabeth I's residences. Elizabeth spent time at Ashridge when she was still a princess. She used Ashridge as a place to retreat from court during the reign of her sister Mary, when rumours of her involvement in plots to overthrow Mary were rife. Perhaps the young princess would ride past this oak. Or perhaps this oak would not have even been aware of any changes at all. What was this change like for the common people? Use of land always changes over time. And through the centuries, ordinary people continued to use this space. This veteran tree and the trees around it would have been a vital resource for those living locally. So, as you stand here, look at this old, old tree. Think about all it has seen, all it has witnessed, and yet it has stood. Reflect back on all the storms you have weathered, and the fact that you are still here. As you continue walking through the woods, notice the trees, recognize them. You'll meet some more veteran trees later in the walk. Are they different to Bob's oak? Are they the same? As you begin to walk to the next part of the journey, listen to this song sung from the perspective of the veteran tree.
I am a veteran tree. I look dead, but there's life in me. I am a veteran tree, old enough to know better than you. I am a veteran tree, come sit by me. What have I seen?